Hello and welcome to this edition of Express News. Over the next half hour, we take you through the top 100 stories making headlines across India and the world. So let's begin. In the ongoing budget session of Parliament, both houses today took up discussion on the motion of thanks on the President Ram Nath Kovind's address to the joint session of Parliament. BJP MP Sahib Singh moved the motion in the Lok Sabha. Parliamentary proceedings interrupted when opposition parties created ruckus over the CAA and NRC issues in the Lok Sabha. During question hour, Congress and DMK MPs entered the well shouting slogans. Sloganeering did not stop even after assurances from the Speaker that members can raise the issues during discussion on motion of thanks. Meanwhile, in Rajyasbha, Congress, CPM, CPI and BSP demand discussions on CAA and NRC. Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, Thawar Chand Gehlot, makes appeals to opposition to start discussion on motion of thanks, but it was not honoured by them. Upper House had to be adjourned for the day. Speaking in the Lok Sabha, Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur says there has been a decrease in fraud cases in banks and bank NPA has also come down. If someone found guilty in any kind of bank fraud case, Minister said every possible action will be taken. Speaking in the Lok Sabha, Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan says rupees 65,000 crores has been saved due to direct benefit transfer scheme and by eliminating ghost connections through PM Ujjwala Yojana scheme. Central government forms special task force to monitor situation arising out of coronavirus menace. Task force comprises External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, Ministers of State for Home Affairs, Health and Civil Aviation. Third coronavirus case confirmed in Kerala. All positive cases found are being monitored and are clinically stable. Second batch of 330 passengers from Wuhan arrive in India. Meanwhile, all passengers that arrive from Wuhan are being quarantined for 14 days at the two quarantine centers managed by Armed Forces Medical Services and ITBP. Government issues new travel advisory to public, asking them to refrain from travelling to China and that anyone with travel history in China after January 15 and from now on could be quarantined. Government also temporarily suspends e-visa facility for Chinese passport holders. Uttar Pradesh Police says 108 people affiliated with Popular Front of India arrested in the last 4 days. Interim DGP Uttar Pradesh says those arrested are in addition to the 25 arrested earlier. Addressing third Kautilya Fellowship Program at Vice President Bhavan, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu says India is a peaceful nation and one experiences unity and diversity here. Also says terrorism is the biggest threat to humanity. It should not be related with any particular religion. News about poll-bound Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses election rally at Karkarduma, where he launches scathing attack on opposition parties. He says Delhi's development has been affected due to the policies of these parties. Seeks vote for BJP in larger interests of the national capital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi alleges Delhi government is not letting schemes such as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana be implemented there. The AAP government is putting obstacles to welfare work. Senior BJP leader and Union Minister Amit Shah addresses public rally in Mundka in Delhi, hitting out at Aam Aadmi Party chief and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Amit Shah says for the last 5 years, Kejriwal only made false promises to the people of Delhi. Delhi Chief Minister and AAP leader Arvind Kejriwal holds roadshow in Palam area. Bhavna Gaur is the party candidate from Palam Assembly constituency. Seat comes under South Delhi Lok Sabha constituency. Bahujan Samaj Party starts campaign for Delhi Assembly elections with BSP Chief Mayawati addressing a public rally. BSP Chief says its party will fight elections alone and believes in walking the talk. Congress Party releases manifesto for Delhi Assembly elections, promising to regularize services of all contractual employees working under Delhi government. providing unemployment allowance to graduate and postgraduates, bringing Lokpal in 6 months and increasing Delhi's green cover by 30% are some of the other promises. Congress leader Ajay Makan alleges AAP government is hand in glove with discoms and involved in corrupt practices. Says if voted to power, Congress will not only provide cheaper electricity, will also ensure that corruption in electricity distribution is rooted out. Ahead of Delhi Assembly polls, prominent personalities and individuals in large numbers joined the BJP in presence of Delhi Assembly election. BJP in charge Prakash Javadekar later lashed out at Aam Aadmi Party chief and Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal, saying he is supporting those who want to break the country, be it protesters at Shaheen Bagh or students at JNU. Speaking on Shaheen Bagh agitation in Delhi, BJP leader and national spokesperson GVL Narasimha says that the protests are illegal, adds that the government is exposing the drama behind it as political parties, especially Delhi CM and AAP officials, taking undue advantage of innocent people in Delhi. Meanwhile, Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi accuses opposition of trying to portray CAA in a negative light. Further recalls how President Kovind in his address to the joint session of Parliament had clarified the skepticism surrounding the amended Citizenship Act. Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy says incidents such as last night's firing in Jamia Millia Islam University should not happen. Further says government will take strict action against those who carry arms and commit such acts. Election Commission on Sunday orders shifting of Delhi Police's DCP Southeast Chinmoy Biswal. Kumar Gyanesh, senior most additional DCP Southeast, will take charge as DCP of the area immediately. Meanwhile, Delhi police have registered a case after 2 unidentified persons allegedly opened fire outside Jamia Millia gate last night. 4 convicts in Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case contend in the Delhi High Court that since they were sentenced to death by a common order, they have to be executed together. However, court has said that the arguments were not relevant and trial is over. The entire case has been decided by the Supreme Court. With government of Pakistan declaring a national emergency over locust swarms there, swarms of locusts were sighted in Rajasthan's Jodhpur at Sri Karanpur Tehsil and its villages in Sri Ganganagar district in the Dechu area on Sunday. However, the Agriculture and Revenue Department authorities and the Locust Control Organization say that only a minimal presence of locusts was confined to Sri Ganganagar district out of the 10 other affected districts. Supreme Court issues notice to Centre and all states on petition against continued deaths of children who fall into bore wells and the negligence shown by authorities to prevent such tragedies. State-run power giant NTPC says it has become the top company in Asia to raise the largest syndicated Japanese yen loan worth $750 million. Engineering and construction major Larsen & Toubro says its joint venture with European defense major MBDA Missile Systems has set up a missile integration facility in a special economic zone in Tamil Nadu's Coimbatore. Chinese equities plunged almost 8% on Monday as nervous traders returned from their extended Lunar New Year break, hit by fears that coronavirus could hammer the country's economy. Analysts have warned the outbreak could slash global growth this year. BSE Sensex ends 137 points higher at 39,872.31, led by gains in HUL, ICICI Bank and Asian Paints amid broad-based buying in the market. Broader NSE Nifty finishes higher by 46.05 points at 11,707.90. Gold prices declined by 281 rupees to 41,748 per 10 grams in national capital on Monday, in line with fall in global rates. Silver prices also dropped 712 rupees to 47,506 rupees per kg, compared with 48,218 rupees per kg in previous trade. Crude oil prices on Monday rise by 14 rupees to rupees 3,691 per barrel as speculators create fresh positions on spot demand. Rupee recovers early losses, settles 3 paise down at 71.35 against the US dollar. small company in Boston, Evolved by Nature, is leading efforts to replace artificial chemicals in skincare products and textiles with natural silk protein. Company is applying modern biotechnology to centuries-old silk to create activated silk, which only requires salt, water, heat, and no added chemicals. It may sound more like science fiction than science fact, but researchers have created bionic jellyfish, embedding microelectronics into the marine organism with hopes to deploy them to monitor and explore the world's oceans. Nobel Prize-winning scientist Venkatraman Ramakrishnan says India's goal should not be to get a Nobel but create a culture for first-rate science where people are tackling important problems. Travelers to Mayodhya and Lower Dibang Valley of Arunachal Pradesh are finding season snowfall enthralling. The Mehao Wildlife Sanctuary, also a big center of attraction. Bringing cheer for adventure enthusiasts, Ladakh Mountaineering Association organized ice climbing festival at Gangles village in Leh. 3-day-long festival aims at boosting winter tourism. People in Chennai dressed up their pets in their best costumes and accessories, showcasing them at a pet fashion show in the city on Sunday. Organizer Meena Reddy says they raised a total of $7,000 from the donations. In California, behind the high walls and gates of a prison, inmates escape from prison every day, even if it's only in their minds. Inmates lay credit to Prison Yoga Project, which has been here since 18 years. Frustrated by one of the world's highest rates of sexual assault, poor law enforcement and tribal taboos, Nigerian women are breaking with tradition to take self-defense classes. Sao Paulo celebrates Chinese New Year on Saturday with dancing performances, gastronomy and music on show to mark the Year of the Rat. People celebrated the Chinese New Year, which is considered a major holiday here. In Australia, the mother Leela Abdallah of 3 children killed in a fatal crash said she forgives and does not hate the alleged drunk driver. Health ministers of G7 countries will discuss joint response to coronavirus epidemic in Berlin today. WHO last week declared it a public health emergency. Meanwhile, Mongolia, Russia and Nepal have closed their land borders. China struggles to deal with the deadly virus. A total of 17,205 cases have been confirmed positive, while 361 casualties have been observed in China. However, for a first after China, Philippines becomes the first country to report death due to coronavirus. Meanwhile, China is all set to open a new 1,000-bed Huo Shenshan hospital in Wuhan as the number of people infected continue to grow. A second hospital at Lianshan is due to be finished by Wednesday. As a precautionary step, China resorts to using drones. Drones scold citizens who go outside without face masks. The video shows an older woman in the northern province of Inner Mongolia smiling up at the drone. Then she turns and begins walking quickly away as it follows her. Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, South Korean men line up for the conscription examination wearing masks. South Korea will, however, bar entry by foreigners who have visited Hubei province. As for France, Health Minister Agnès Buzyn informs that in at least 20 people arriving from Wuhan, coronavirus symptoms are clearly visible. Moreover, 250 passengers are being screened for the virus. Nearer back home, Bangladesh temporarily suspends visa on arrival facility for Chinese passengers. Country has also directed to not extend national schemes to Chinese nationals. Amidst virus outbreak, Pakistan claims receiving Chinese aid of 1,000 kits for screening and testing coronavirus suspects in the country. Meanwhile, in Spain, a coronavirus patient has been hospitalized in Canary Islands' La Gomera hospital. According to health authorities, the patient before arriving in Spain was in contact with a coronavirus patient. With the United States confirming the 11th case of fast-spreading coronavirus, latest in California, the country plans a handful more flights to bring Americans home from China's Hubei province. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says. In Syria, 2 suicide car bomb attacks were staged by the jihadi group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham on the edge of Aleppo. Syria's state news agency said troops had responded to the insurgent attack on the by firing artillery and rockets before they reached their apparent targets. In Iraq, protesters quick to dismiss Mohammad Tawfiq Alawi as Prime Minister designate when rallies took place in the capital Baghdad and the country's southern provinces. Protesters say he is part of the ruling elite. At least 7 members of a family, including 4 children and 2 women, killed in a mortar shell fired from Afghanistan in Pakistan's northwest Khyber Pakhtunkhwa on Sunday. House was destroyed in the mortar attack. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani says despite being under US sanctions since 2 years, Iran still stands strong. Final countdown to Iowa caucuses is on. Kicked off the state-by-state nominating process to pick US presidential nominees. Democratic candidates make their closing pitches in earnest. A confident Bernie Sanders urges voters to turn up in large numbers on caucus night. With the final countdown on and candidates making their last-minute pushes, former Vice President Joe Biden rallies supporters. Meanwhile, former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, Pete Buttigieg, looks back on his rise. Also, U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar takes a jibe. Dozens of deported migrants and activists set fire to an effigy of President Trump on Sunday in Tijuana to protest against his immigration policy. Protesters reject building of a wall, say bridges should connect countries. Dozen animal rights activists protest on Sunday outside Santa Maria Bull Ring in Bogota against the start of new bullfighting season in the city. In 2012, Bogota's mayor bans bullfighting, but a constitutional court rules the ban violated the right to artistic expression and lifted it. In Bolivia, 10 people die of dengue since the last week, and at least 9,500 are suspected cases nationwide, as cited by Bolivian health authorities. The Department of Santa Cruz is one of the most affected, with more than 1,200 cases. Somalia declares national emergency as large swarms of locusts spread across East Africa. Country's Ministry of Agriculture says the insects pose major threat to Somalia's fragile food security situation. Fears that the situation may not be brought under control before the harvest begins in April. France says it will boost military presence in the Sahel by adding 600 troops to its 4,500-strong operation in Mali and 4 other countries in the region. In addition to this, the bulk of the reinforcements would be deployed by the end of February in the border zone linking Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. Suspected jihadists killed 20 civilians in attack in northern Burkina Faso. According to governor of Sahel, attackers were heavily armed and on motorbikes and executed the local inhabitants. At least 20 crushed to death, 16 others injured during outdoor religious service in Tanzania. Worshippers were attending a Pentecostal service at a stadium in the northern town of Moshi on Saturday evening when the incident occurred. Large number of Pashtuns living in the UK and Europe gather outside the Pakistan embassy in London to protest against the arrest of Manzoor Pashtun, a human rights activist and founder of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. Activists had accused the Pakistani government and army of human rights abuses. In UK, security forces gunned down an attacker who stabbed 3 people in South London. The Metropolitan Police says the incident in Streatham was part of an active counter-terror operation during which the male suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. Residents of small towns around Australia's capital Canberra return home to estimate the damage after bushfires tore through the area. Since September, the bushfires have killed at least 32 people and more than 11 million hectares of land have been scorched so far. India beat New Zealand by 7 runs in 5th and final T20 international to complete the rout. India sweeps series 5-0. Cricket fraternity praises India after 5-0 whitewash of New Zealand. Jasprit Bumrah becomes first bowler in T20 cricket to bowl 7 maiden overs, adjudged player of the match. KL Rahul named man of the series, breaks captain Virat Kohli's record to become Indian batsman with most runs in a bilateral T20 series. KL Rahul's stellar all-round show in India's 5-0 drubbing of New Zealand raises him to career-best second position in ICC T20 rankings. Former Indian coach in Chapel lauds Virat Kohli for being able to channelize his highly emotional temperament towards building a versatile team. Indian women's cricket team suffers 4-wicket loss against Australia in second match of T20 Tri-Series in Canberra in Australia. Rohit Sharma ruled out of ODI and Test series against New Zealand due to calf injury. Indian Olympic Association invites BCCI President Saurav Ganguly to become the goodwill ambassador of the Indian contingent at the Tokyo Olympics this year. Novak Djokovic beats world number 5 seed Dominic Thiem in 5-set epic to win 8th Australian Open, now has 17 major titles, putting him just 3 behind Federer, the all-time leader. American Sofia Kenin grabs her first Grand Slam title after defeating Garbiñe Muguruza in the Australian Open finals. In men's doubles finals, Britain's Joe Salisbury claims his first Grand Slam doubles title along with his partner Rajyasbha. In Super Bowl 2020, Kansas City Chiefs pull off a sensational comeback 31-20 to beat San Francisco 49ers in a breathtaking finish to the National Football League's 100th season. Golfer Webb Simpson defeats Tony Finau to win Waste Management Phoenix Open. He claims his 6th US PGA Tour title. In English Premier League, Steven Bergwijn's debut goal helps Tottenham to a remarkable 2-0 win over 10-man Manchester City. 18-year-old Daniel Maldini makes his Serie A debut with Italian giants AC Milan to follow in the footsteps of his father, club legend Paolo, and grandfather Cesare. Graeme McDowell celebrates first European Tour title since 2014 as he claims victory at the Saudi International. McDowell defeated defending champion Dustin Johnson. India's best women's singles player Ankita Raina wins first ITF singles title of the season and 10th of her career, beating French seed Chloe Paquet in Nonthaburi in Thailand. Hamid Desai clinches national table tennis championship while Haryana's Sutirtha wins second crown in national table tennis. Chennai Superstars leads Premier Badminton League points table for 2020 till now. PBL 2020 is being played at 3 different locations. World War I film 1917, the big winner at BAFTA Film Awards on Sunday with 7 prizes in total. Trophies for Sir Sam Mendes' movie included Best Film, Best British Film, Best Director and Best Cinematography. Joker wins 3 BAFTA awards including Best Actor for Joaquin Phoenix. Renée Zellweger named Best Actress for portrayal of Judy Garland. South Korean film Parasite wins 2 BAFTAs for original screenplay and Best Foreign Language Film. In Bollywood Awards, nomination list of much-awaited 65th Filmfare Awards 2020 announced awards night to be held on 15th February in Guwahati. Amitabh Bachchan announces release date of Ranbir and Alia's Tara Brahmastra movie to be released on 4th December 2020. Bollywood's Raveena Tandon attends conference regarding child organ trafficking and donation in Mumbai. Tandon, along with other guests, spoke to students regarding inhumane crime of child organ trafficking, generates awareness on voluntary organ donation. After having acted with Rajnikant in recently released Darbar, actor Nayanthara will once again share screen space with the superstar in his upcoming yet untitled flick with Shiva. Makers announced the news on Twitter recently. Fahad Fasil starrer Malayalam movie Malik is riding high on expectations after photographs of the actor in a lean look was splashed on social media. The versatile actor lost 10 to 15 kgs as his character aged from 21 to 58, says Malik director Mahesh Narayanan. World's biggest crafts fair, Suraj Kund Mela, started on the 1st of February, showcasing Indian culture at its finest. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Express News. For all the latest news and updates round the clock, you can follow us on Twitter and YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. News and updates continue on DD News and DD India. Stay tuned. Namaskar.